buddy. What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Do Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here this morning, Monday. That's right, it is the 14th of the month, and you know what? We are basically 12 days away from the start of training camp, and not since H.G. Wells in 1937 went on the air and ran a fake show called War of the Worlds on NBC radio that put panic across the nation that aliens were attacking. Do we have that kind of a panic in the street here with a potential holdout situation unfolding before our eyes with the Detroit Lions and one of their prized rookie draft picks? We're going to dive into that during the main topic of the day. Probably got a little too long-winded talking about all that, but try to have a little fun with it. Here's what we know. The Lions have a lot of flux on the offensive line. And you know what? We've got a lot of rookies, younger players, not all, I guess, we're just rookies. They're going to be vying for an opportunity to win one of those starting spots at either the guards, the center spot, et cetera, et cetera. And as you're all probably definitely aware, across the entire landscape in the NFL, unless you're one of two teams, all the second-round picks are holding out, and we'll, again, get into this during the main topic of the day. All right, before we get into the 5 headlines now, before we get into the main topic of the day and see what everybody in the Do Crew comment section has to say, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, pretty pleased with sugar on top, maybe even Mountain Dew on top, please consider doing so. We are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 subs away from hitting 13,900. So if you have a half second of time, reach on down and a kind heart, hit the subscribe button. While you're hitting that button, if you would also consider hitting the thumbs up button, the like button, that would be most appreciated. We try to get every episode of the show between 2, 3, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. And if you know YouTube at all, you understand that helps the channel out exponentially. Last but most certainly never least, and I know I will probably get not Mountain Dew if I don't mention this from time to time. If you are considering personal fitness, if you're considering maybe just wanting more energy, get your blood pressure, your cholesterol, all your scores down, consider going to JenSavageFitness.com. Yes, she is my wife. Most of you guys know for a few months now, she's had me on peptides, amongst other, things. And man, I can tell you, it's made a massive difference in my scores. In fact, at 2:30 today, I have an appointment with the doctor to get my latest round of blood work and everything. But in the few months that we've had it, or I've been on it, I can tell you, I've lost about 7 or 8 pounds. My skeletal structure mass has gone up. My bone density has gone up. My muscles have gone up. My scores have gone down. So you know what? If you just want to live better, have better health, more energy, be a little bit more fit, you might want to consider checking out the website. So, all right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get the show rocking and rolling and going and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines now, including one of them. I actually wanted to make it as the main headline of the day. I might have to circle back tomorrow and come back to it. We'll find out about it, and I'll go more on it. But, I thought, we've got a heavyweight fight getting ready to start before our eyes. All right, Lions, Penei Sewell ranked higher than Lane Johnson. Detroit Lions on the SI, story about John Macron. So, NFL beat writers, NFL executives, scouts, the whole shebang bang. This time of year, they always run a poll across the NFL asking everybody, hey, who's the best quarterback? Who's the best tight end? Who's the best at every position, right? So with that being said, Penei Sewell was voted by NFL executives, scouts, coaches as the second best tackle in the NFL. And yes, that means he was ahead of Lane Johnson. I think most of us agree, you get to a certain level at any position, you are splitting hairs who's the best, who's second best, who's third best. More often than not, there's not going to be a big gap between whoever you put in whatever spot. But according to league executives, scouts, and coaches polled by ESPN, Sewell is ahead of veteran Philadelphia Eagles tackle Lane Johnson and just behind Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would not have considered that Wirfs would be better than Sewell, but you know what? They don't ask me. Maybe I'm a bit of a homer being a Lions fan and a Lions content creator. Most scouts believe the gap between the top three tackles is quite small. One NFC scout explained, but would not go on record, and I get it. They don't want to be involved in it, so off the record. We're splitting hairs, really. Both are great. All three of these guys are great. I just give the edge to Wirfs for playing the left side. So, again, there are a lot of people that do think if Sewell were to go over the left side, he would be widely lauded as the best tackle in all the NFL. And I get it. There's, I guess, the misnomer that because you play on the right side, you got to be somehow of a lesser tackle. When the Lions drafted him, I think it just simply came down to the fact that Taylor Decker wasn't all world, wasn't all great, but he was a pretty dang good left tackle, still continues to be, and they saw the real value in having bookend tackles on that offensive line for the Detroit Lions, not just for the passing game, the run game. What do you think about Penei Sewell? I think most of us would agree he is, looking back at that draft, he probably should have been number 1 or 2, and not where the Lions got him a little bit later. I want to say number 7 overall. You could all remember the video. It was the Lions' first draft with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. As soon as the Lions make the selection, you can see them all jumping around, shaking, screaming at the screens, the whole shebang-a-bang. Sewell's 71.7 run block rate with a 91.2 pass block rate were behind some other players at his position. But while that may be true, you look at his athleticism, his agility, his power, everything about him. He is rare in the fact that both of his scores are that high. Usually most tackles have one area they're really, really dominant at and another area they're, passable at. Penei Sewell is not just passable. He's near dominant at everything he does. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler said Sewell showed discipline in 2024 with 3 penalties committed in 17 games. Let that sink in. Only 3 times all last year was he flagged for a penalty. That's insane, if you ask me. All right, let's go on to the next of the 5 glorious headlines now. Aiden Hutchinson injury update. Could have made this a main top of the day, too. Lions star, quote, exactly where he needs to be. This comes from our friends at 5 Goats by Nick Koska. I've never heard of 5 Goats before, but you know what? You're hearing about him now. We'll go with that. So Aiden Hutchinson recently gave an update on his recovery, and he says, and this is coming from CBS Sports' Ryan Wilson, per multiple different physicians who have been watching him now for months, about a half a year, maybe a little bit longer than that now. They all say the same thing. He's fully recovered. There's no hindrance. There's no, hiccup in his game or anything like that. There are 0 restrictions on him at this point. With the Lions, we all get it. They lost in the playoffs last year, being the number 1 seed, divisional round. A lot of it was because, I think we'd all agree the defensive injuries. Kelvin Shepard says he's also gone on, said he's talked with the training staffs, the doctors, the physicians, etc., about Aiden Hutchinson, and they've assured him he can do whatever he wants with him. Now, without being committal to it, Kelvin Shepard says that's good because he's going to use Aiden Hutchinson in some ways we haven't seen before. And again, in recent weeks on Lions Talk Live, and to be fair, with Kurt Steele from the Boss Up, Ball Out podcast, you've had Ant-Man from Roar Lions UK. I think Johnny Gaz even mentioned this when he was on a week or 2 ago, something like that, from Johnny Gaz Sports. Everybody seems to have the assumption or the feeling that the Lions are going to be switching up defenses a lot this year. And it would appear from this comment from Kelvin Shepard, he's more or less confirming that to all Lions fans. Lions are more than likely going to play some 3-4 defense, some 4-3 defense. And yes, we can probably anticipate Derek Barnes, Aiden Hutchinson, maybe Brian Branch are not going to be playing just such stagnant positions that we've seen in the last years. We're going to probably see them all move across the board. And to be fair, we've seen that some with Hutch. We've seen him drop into coverage. We've seen him play both ends. But I think you're going to see more and more, maybe him even in certain situations play middle linebacker so he can blitz up the middle, shoot gaps, delayed, etc. But what we can say is good news no matter what the structure is. any kind of thoughts or worries that we had that going into week 1, he would be somewhat limited, that seems to be quickly becoming a thing of the past nowadays. The rest is over. You know what? Aiden Hutchinson is chomping at the bit to get back in the field and to prove he is potentially the best defensive end in the NFL. All right, next to the 5 headlines now, if I can get this thing to click. Dan Campbell explains why Detroit is dream fit, doesn't want to leave. Pride of Detroit by Jeremy Risman. Another story we could have probably had as the main topic today. Didn't want to go there and do that with it. But here's what I can say. I think when he was hired in, most of us had at least, if you're a Lions fan, you probably had some worries that things weren't going to exactly be good with MCDC. That time has passed. I get it. We all believe in him now. The mantras, the grit, the whole shebang-a-bang. But we also are aware that some teams have made some overtures to acquire Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions to try to get him to leave there, to go there. Texas A&M, I want to say last year was rumored to it. When talking, speaking of Texas A&M, when talking to some Texas radio shows this past weekend, MCDC was specifically asked about the potential to come back to Texas, coach one of the NFL teams, coach a collegiate team. And, I'm paraphrasing here, but he shot it down. He just more or less said that, hey, I love being there in Detroit. It is the perfect fit for me, how I view football. He talks about the fan base, how much they've embraced him, how much they've just shown love to him, his family, the product on the field. He understands, and he does quote about being a player for the Detroit Lions. He figured it out pretty quick. Detroit is a very unique situation across the NFL. The fans here have been so loyal for half a century, waiting for a strong team to be reemerging on the football field. He thinks that he's going to retire here as long as the city will allow him, as long as the Ford family will allow him, or the Hamp family, however you want to word it. He's not leaving anywhere. Yes, he kind of unconfirmingly confirmed, I guess you could say, that he's been offered a couple different jobs, especially the college rank. But he says he has no interest in it. He's going to ride or die a Detroit Lion forever. And part of it is the unique relationship the Lions have with their fan base. There are many very passionate fan bases across the NFL. Hey, we all get it, man. We might not like the Green Bay Packers, but you probably do understand their fans are really passionate about them. And you could point out probably 10, 20 other teams that are in that kind of level of fandom with their NFL team. But he also points out with the Detroit Lions, you know what, good, bad, or ugly, those fans show up, they bleed blue, and he just doesn't want to ever go away from that. He wants to be here until the day he cannot coach anymore, and he does want to bring a championship, a Lombardi, to the city of Detroit. He does that, I will guess we will all be demanding a big, huge kind of Lord of the Rings 400-foot tall statue of Dan Campbell be erected in front of Ford Field. We'll see if that happens at the end of this year, because I think there's a real possibility it could this year. All right, NFL executives say there's a big concern about Sam LaPorta is not really a problem for the Detroit Lions. A to Z Sports by Mike Payton. You know what? I'll just say this in regards to this one. More and more executives are listing Sam LaPorta as the best tight end in football. And if they're not saying he's number one, he's top three. Again, kind of talking about with Penei, so you split hairs at a certain degree when you get to a certain area in any level. But when you get to the top of quarterbacks, tight ends, wide receivers, whatever, really the difference between the number one guy and number three guy isn't that huge. The one thing more and more executives are pointing out about Sam LaPorta that maybe gives some credence to the gap between him and some of the other guys is the fact he is so dominant as a run blocker and so dominant as a receiver. We've talked about like Zane Zylstra on the show recently, the last week or whatever it's been. Zylstra can get open. Zylstra is an athlete. He's a real good pass-catching tight end. He's not much, in my opinion at least, he's not really much to be bothered with blocking. He'd rather get out of the way than get in the way, and I get it. He's making a business decision to keep himself that knee that's still healing, trying to be right on the field so he can prolong his career. That also being said, Sam LaPorta, if he's asked to block, if he's asked to take on a 300-pound defensive end or a tackle or whatever, it doesn't bother him. He doesn't flinch. We also know, especially if you guys watch the Netflix quarterback thing, season 2, they do point out how athletic Sam LaPorta is in there. lead in. I don't know which episode it was, but a lead in to the Houston game. You heard Goff talk about whatever the play was. I don't remember, whiffs or something like that, or wasps, where they were going to try to set up LaPorta because he as a tight end, he falls into coverage. He can kind of get forgotten about easier than a wide receiver, but he's got wide receiver type ability, athleticism, maybe not JMO speed, but pretty good speed. And that's where the real shebang of this situation goes. Sam LaPorta is one of the faster tight ends in all of football, and he can run block. That makes him a very, very dangerous and rare breed. This season, I do anticipate you're going to see even more out of Sam LaPorta. Why? Because I think the Lions are going to have even more of a power run game, even more 12 personnel or multiple tight ends out there / offensive linemen, maybe 3 offensive tackles at a time. You get it. They're going to set up the line to power the other team, go at them. If that holds water and the play action is as strong as we all anticipate, along with the running game, then LaPorta's in a great situation to put up a monster campaign, maybe even further cement across more of the NFL fan base that he is the number 1 tight end in all of football. All right, with all that done said, out of the way, let's get us on over to the main topic of the day. Just real quick, if you guys send me texts during the show, remember, I typically do not see the text until after the show because my phone's been ringing and shaking all over the place here. But after the show, I'll try to get over to you guys as quick as I can. All right, main topic of the day. If you weren't aware, I'm going to bring you up to speed. There are 2 of the 32 second-round picks signed across the NFL right now. And this is going to be a big problem for the Detroit Lions. Why? Because Frank Ragnow is retired, because Kevin Zeitler isn't here, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. He's not here anymore. But anyway, Ratledge was drafted to come in. And remember, the Lions traded up because the Lions probably had a pretty good idea that Frank the Tank Ragnow was going to potentially retire this year. So that put more need on the situation to address the offensive line. Ratledge, I think we all understand, throughout rookie OTAs and then regular OTAs, was spending a lot of time at center, potentially to replace Frank Ragnow. But as we all probably are very aware, right now there are 2 teams that have their second-round pick signed, and the log jam that's across the rest of the NFL is simply this. Those 2 guys got fully guaranteed second-round draft salaries, I guess they were salaries for their contracts. And that's fairly uncommon. Now, with those 2 done, of course, the next guy on the list is, well, I want my contract fully guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera. Lions are pretty far down on the second-round pick, scheme of things, but they've got a whole lot of people that have got to get things worked out in front of them so they can have more clarity for their guy. The Lions also, further exacerbating the problem, they report sooner than every other NFL team to training camp other than one, and as we all know, that is the Chargers because of the Hall of Fame game. So does this derail in any way, shape, or form what you think is going to happen with Ratledge this rookie year? The longer it drags on, if he starts missing time in training camp, that's going to force MCDC and the rest of the coaching staff to try to make some, Hank Fraley, especially on the offensive line, to make some difficult decisions. Who do you put in that offensive line? And again, we probably all know Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, those are going to be your tackles. I don't think there's any question about that. I think you and I and everybody in the comment section probably agree that Christian Mahoney is at least a leading candidate for one of the guard spots. But now if Ratledge is not a go, who takes over the other guard spot or center spot? This is no small thing because we all know Goff, like every NFL quarterback, does not like pressure up the middle, does not like it in their face. The faster it happens up the middle, the more quickly, or I guess the quicker the play breaks down. Detroit Lions don't have a running game because the middle of the offensive line can't block very well. That will impact the play action pass because if you can't run, nobody's worried about play action pass. If you're going to have a power running game that isn't powerful because nobody can block, well, these are big problems. So if you had to guess right now, Duke Crew, who starts where the offensive line? How quickly do you think the NFL, and it's not going to be just the Detroit Lions, but selfishly, as a Lions content show, we're going to talk about it. How quickly do you think Ratledge gets out there on the field? Do you think they get this figured out? Do you think they have to give him fully guaranteed money? The Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans are the ones that started this, I guess you could say, troublesome situation across the NFL. And now the rest of the teams, the other 30 teams, have to deal with it. Ratledge has not missed anything. I want to make sure we're all clear on that. He's been at everything so far. But 12 days from now, that may not be the case. And every day he misses because of the contract situation will be a day he falls further behind. I would also say as a coach, that's a great opportunity for somebody else to get those first team reps, to get out there, at which point I would assume Glasgow is going to be one of your starters, at least for the foreseeable future. Who takes over the other spot on that offensive line? Could it be Yodi? Could it be, I don't know, Miles Frazier? Could it be somebody else I'm not thinking of? Maybe Giovanni Manu. And I would have no problems with that if they think he's ready. All right, guys, I've rambled on about this topic way too long. It's something to consider, maybe have a raised eyebrow with. But again, 12 days from now, if this isn't settled, not just for the Detroit Lions, but the vast majority of NFL teams, those rookies are going to start falling behind real quick. Every day you miss snaps is a day you miss reps, is a day you miss an opportunity to adjust from college to the NFL. And yes, it will hurt you. All right, let's get over to you guys. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. Give me a hot second. I'm scrolling. I'm still scrolling. You're watching me scroll on the screen. All right, Big Eddie kicking us off. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation point. What's wrong with us? And now you know. And knowing is half the battle, my friend. JDC, morning all. Back at you. Trey, what up, Duke Crew? Question mark. 12 days until camp arrives. Thankfully, the start is nearly here. 100%, man. We're all chomping at the bit to watch how the guys are doing. I know some of you guys will probably go attend the practices in training camp that are open to the public at least, but go have fun with it. Go get ready. And yes, before you guys even ask, I will broadcast the preseason games. I'll probably start working on getting the setup here ready again for all that. All right, Gary, morning, Duke Crew, back at you. Attila Hun, I am worried, but the Tate Ratledge contract is about being fully guaranteed. Correct. No second-round player has signed after those two picks received fully guaranteed money. It is a NFL, not a Brad Holmes issue. No, Brad Holmes is simply the GM of the Detroit Lions who has to deal with the fallout of that. And to your point, it's across 30 of the 32 teams. So how quickly these dominoes are going to start chipping away, falling in place, knocking down, whatever you want to say, I think, it's the biggest question out there for the vast majority of the NFL teams. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. There's no time like the present! Exclamation point. Woo! And back at you, Attila. Brent, agreed, Tilla, hookadoo. And time keeps on ticking, Bo. Oh, yeah! Exclamation point. You're right. Every second of the day is another second gone. Gary, I am not worried at all. Brad and Dan will figure it out, part of what they need to take care of. Yeah, 100%. They'll figure out somebody's going to get in there. The one thing I am thankful for is that I do think we've got a lot of good talent, veteran, and a combination of younger talent on the team that could get in there and fill some stuff out. I think we all probably would feel more comfortable with Ratledge out there just because what we think we know about him and such, but it doesn't mean somebody else can't rise to the opportunity. All right, just greetings, salutations. Till I think it's causing a big problem for the rest of the teams, not just us. So agreed, this could be around for a bit. It could be. And really it just comes down to when some of those other players start signing. Pierce, second round picks, fully guaranteed deals. Why? Yeah, that I don't know. Only the Browns and the Texans can really answer that one. Drake, if Frank Ragnow was still here, maybe this isn't as big of a worry, but he isn't here, and we need Rat in the lineup even more. That is accurate, yeah. If Zeitler would have re-signed with the team, or if Frank Ragnow would have stayed, maybe that would have bought us some more time, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. See, France, all these other YouTube guys put their faces in the picture of their videos. Why don't you, Coach? To me, the content is the Detroit Lions or something pertaining to the Detroit Lions. It has nothing to do with me. I don't think it's a bad move to put your face in it. Maybe you're part of your own marketing scheme, I guess. Sort of like the Golden Arches or whatever. You see those things, you know what they are, you know what you're clicking on. So maybe that's part of it. You see a certain person, like Dan Miller. If you see him in the thumbnail, you probably know it's Detroit Lions content in some way, shape, or form. All right, Brent, I want Ratledge signed and in camp, but I would not guarantee a second-round picks contract. Be thankful you got drafted and prove yourself first. Yeah, I hear you there. Unfortunately, the trend is the friend, and now all of the agents for those second-round guys are obviously trying to use that to their clients' advantage. Bo, I thank you. I am is on my side. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed, my friend. Eddie Moore, good morning, Coach Dale and Duke Crew. What a team! Exclamation point. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And good to see you as always, Henry. Carrie, you have Colleen, yes, and Glasgow. Colin, I'd say. I know Kurt Steele or Professor Steele would say it's Colleen or whatever. I think that's maybe just how he pronounces his name. So don't hold me to that if I'm wrong. Just the second round contract situation is messing up every other team other than two. We are so far down the list that nothing will happen until the dominoes, begin to tumble. 100%, man. Dominoes got to fall on down. Hope somebody starts flicking them down for us. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I can already hear Coach saying, control what you can control. End quote. And that's all we can do regarding Tate. Yeah, it's beyond our control at this point. If we were like the third team in the second round or the fourth team, we could probably force some stuff to start falling domino-wise, but we're pretty far down on that list. We're going to need some other teams to get it Scooby-Dooed and figured out before we can really effectively jump in. At least that's my anticipation. Man, hey, talk about somebody we haven't seen in a hot second. Moonscar Blade, good morning. Duke Crew, starting lineup, exclamation point. Dropping in to say hi and listening in. Work is cracking down on my Lions Talk Live time. Man, we got to get you out of that job. So, hi. Oh, hey, back at you, my friend. Good to see you. Can't wait to see you. Maybe at a Paw game or something. Johnny Mac, hey, another person I haven't seen in a hot second. Let's go, Lions. Exclamation point. Let's go, Dan and the Duke Crew. Back at you, Johnny. Glad to see you. The return of the Mac. That's a 90s song, in case you're wondering. Happy Monday to all. Back at you, Johnny. And again, good to see you, my friend. Steve Rogers, I think we have more offensive line talent than we realize. I would agree with that. And again, some of it's going to be speculative until we see guys on the field kind of how much have they developed, how much have they matured. But, to your point, think about like Dan Skipper. He's played guard in the past. Giovanni Manu, we know he got some time at it. Could he do it again? Miles Frazier, the whatever it was, 5th round pick rookie. Maybe he's ready. Yodi, there's probably some other people. Colleen, there's probably some other people I haven't considered. Gary, hey, Steph, I'm a southpaw too, and there you go. Hey, man, I think we're only got like a week or something away from that thing. So from her big fight, Bo, and you'll be coming running back to me, 100%, my friend, 100%. I think that's a song lyric or something. So Scott, Hall of Fame game is nearly here. Coach, will you broadcast it? Yes, I will. I'll be broadcasting the preseason games. I can't promise all of them, but my intention is to get all of them. Just with my daughter getting here next month, it is possible we might miss one. We'll see. Hogadoo, hey, who's this Moonscar guy? Is he new to Lions Talk Live? It has been a hot second, hasn't it been? Stephanie, getting close to that time for me? 2? Yes, indeed. Yeah, I want to say you're only like a week or something like that away. I don't have it in front of me, though. Pat Rock, morning crew. NFL now has a problem, not just the Lions. I agree with that. Yeah, it's 30 of the 32 teams. Moonscar Blade is zipping up, I guess. Let's see. Bo, Hogadoo, must be the Blade's own truth. Could be true. Miles Bar, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Bo Booth, Hogadoo, Brent DeWitt, come running back. All right, we'll have you all back on the show for sure. Tori, am I correct that only 2 seconds have deals? I believe that is correct. Yeah, I'm not aware of others, but it is possible I missed something. I don't really pay attention to that as much, but I know of 2 teams that have the deals done. Stephanie, I think that's right, Tori. Yes, okay, we'll go with that. So why haven't we signed Ratledge? So it's just basically 2 teams, I believe it's just 2 teams, have fully signed, second-round picks to guaranteed contracts or the guaranteed contracts on everything within their second-round picks. So now we're just waiting for some other teams across the league to do it. It's been several weeks, I believe, since the last second-round pick signed. And again, there's only 2, so 30 other teams are waiting around. But we're just rolling stones, Miles Margaret, exclamation point. Miles Margaret, laughing out loud, Bo Booth. Brent DeWitt, Browns and Texans, second-rounders are signed. Yeah, I thought those were the 2 teams, and yeah, only 2 teams. Thanks for that, Brent. Thank you very much. Trim Reaper, good morning. Coach of the Duke Crew, starting lineup, exclamation point. Woo! Back at you. Lions for life. Good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! This is our year. I personally can't wait until the Bears come to Ford Field. It's going to be insane. It is, man. And I think it's going to be a beatdown of epic proportion. I think if we're going to use trick plays this year, we might use 50 of them that game. And again, I don't think Dan Campbell has bad blood for Ben Johnson. I could be wrong, of course. But I do think that Lions team wants to prove to him that, hey, it wasn't you that made the offense great. You were a part of it for sure. It were the players and, the other subordinate coaches, etc. Quentin, greetings, salutations to Drew Crew. Us Woodward, is Woodward still on air? I don't see them pop up anymore. Maybe if you haven't watched them for a while, I'm assuming you're talking about on YouTube, then it won't pop up in your feed as much. So probably just type it in the search and you'll find it. At least that's what I would do. Central Scrutinizer, good morning, Lions faithful. One pride, same to you, Brent DeWitt. Good morning, Hookadoo, Miles Mark, grit wins. Hey, you gotta believe in the grit. Kim, panic serves no purpose. This affects all second rounders after the first two. Not worried at this point. It's not like he's an early second round pick either. Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of time, some other guys to sign before we get to the Rat Man. All right, Hookadoo Captain Grit, Miles Marger is in the house. Have a grit day, Duke Crew. I got things to do today. Go get them done. Hopefully have a great day. Miles Marger, Bo Booth, I enjoy the sing-alongs. Hey, sing us a song, yo, Bo Booth. Sing us a song tonight. But you take it easy in the heat and smoke, Hookadoo. Yes, indeed. Have a good, easy day. Five fingers ready. He hasn't missed anything yet, so get him signed ASAP. Yes, correct. He has not missed any reps at anything yet. Hookadoo, Mr. Grit, Brett DeWitt always brings some grit. 100%. Jennifer, good morning. Oh, back at you, Jennifer. Trey, get him in camp. All is well. I'll take that for sure. Bo, I don't believe he won't sign. No, I believe in time he will sign. Michigan Panther Pride, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, and same to you. Hopefully having a good offseason so far, my friend Lauren. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew, and back at you. Hookadoo, yes, Miles Martin, that smoke from Canada is bad in Toledo area also. Yeah, I know where I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan, we've had, I want to say, air quality alerts for several days now. So thoughts and prayers for everybody up in Canada in affected areas. Phil, best thing, the very best greeting and salutations, Duke Crew, and same to you, Phil. Nice, big, bright, powerful P you got there. Jennifer, second round rookie needs to stop this mess. Yeah, needs to get it on signed. I think his agent's just in representation, just waiting for some of the other guys on the list to sign in front of us. All right, Coach Rock, good morning. All not worried about Ratledge on signing yet. I'm sure he will make it to camp. I hope he does, man. That would be great for all. Phil, thank you all for being here. Thank you as well. There be 08. Greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Same to you. Miles Meyer, Orson Welles, H.G. Wells story. Yes, indeed. And for those who don't know what I was referencing, I'm sure you can Google it or search it and you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. Phil, greetings, getting close to 14K subs. Please like and sub. Yeah, we're 100 and whatever it is, 9 away from 14,000. Man, who would have ever guessed that, right? Jennifer, it is 29 second round rookies doing this. Yes, it is. I agree. Karen, I don't think it's Rat's decision. No, I think it's just his representation, his people handling his contract, his agency, and they're doing what they can for their client for sure. There be, oh my gosh, exclamation point. What are we supposed to do about panicking about now? And now you know. And knowing, of course, is half the battle. Jennifer, not panicking at all. This kid hasn't proven himself. Not yet. Let's hope he does prove it. Kim, agents are holding out. The team refuses to sign guaranteed contracts. Players will start returning. I think at time, you got to make a business decision if you're the second rounder. Do you want to play and get paid, or you want to sit on the sideline and maybe re-enter the draft a year from now when that would cause a huge log jam in the draft. All right, Mary, morning, everyone. Back at you. One funky, I hate the right tackle, left tackle argument. Me too, man. Fun fact, the right tackle sees the best defensive ends, linebackers, more in the league. Most of the top edge rushers, including our own Hutch, lined up the majority of their snaps on the left side of the D. Yes, you are correct with that. You're 100% right, One Funky. And good to see you, man. I feel like it's been a hot second from seeing you. Thomas, Sewell could play any offensive line position. Exclamation point. I would agree. When Decker retires, Sewell goes to the left side. Yeah, I would think that could be what they do for sure. Coach Rock, Penei is the best tackle in football and is bigger, stronger, and meaner this year. So watch out in the trenches. And he, Ahmed Hassan ain't go against him with know right away what to work on. Yes, to your point, Ahmed Hassan might actually develop faster if he faces Penei more. And to be fair to Taylor Decker too, because you know what? If you want to get to the quarterback, you want to get your job done, you're going to have to go against one of the NFL's best. Miles Marker, Coach Rock, agree. Burrow, 100%. Pierce, did anyone watch Quarterback on Netflix yet? I did watch some of it. Question mark. When he talked about the fourth downs against Packers, yes, Jen and I just watched that one last night. Hey, at least MCDC told him going in, we're going to go for it a whole lot this game. Pierce, Gut says Dallas tried to get MCDC also. I wouldn't be surprised if that, end up coming out in time. I can see Jerry's World, because it is in Texas, home of the Campbell Nation, trying to acquire him. And what might have been once in time isn't anymore. Dre Day, I had doubts about MCDC when the news broke they hired him, but when they traded Stafford for Goff and all those picks was the turning point from the doubt to hope, in your opinion. No, I think you're probably right. I get through a lot of people that didn't want Stafford to leave, thought it was the end of the day. And to be fair, for some of the people, the narrative on Goff, I want to say for the last year or so, something like that, it hadn't been great. His current team at that time, the Rams, clearly didn't show interest in him. They were ready to go on from him. So as Lions fans, you would have assumed, man, if they lost faith in him, why should we have faith? But obviously it's all worked out. Miles Meyer, MCDC is a straight shooter, even though a crazy fan or two doxed his house address last year. Yeah, and don't hold me to this because I don't have the notes in front of me, but I want to say one of his daughter's classmates leaked the address online, and that's how people start showing up. And I can tell you, man, from coaching, even at the levels I've coached at, professional, but not anything like the NFL level, collegiately or whatever. People do crazy stuff, man. I've told people I've had my tires slashed, my car keyed. I remember one dad, because his kids didn't play as much as he thought. Any kids, I shouldn't say. High school seniors wanted to fight me outside of a restaurant. It's part of coaching, I guess. Let's see, Coach Rock, he will get some grit in a hurry. Miles Meyer working up against that, man. I agree with that. Yeah, Med Hassanin would develop very quickly. Trim Reaper, maturity is not an age. It is a destination. Well said, my friend. Kerry, Geronco Jones, big, mean, bad. Manu, lean, big, bad. Penei, need I say. Mahogany, need I say. Decker, we know. Not worried with all the depth. No, you got some great points there. Geronco Jones often gets forgotten about. He is a pretty good tackle. Lauren, good morning. Been a busy couple of weeks. Hey, I bet it has been, man. You've been working overtime. Miles Mark, good morning. Lauren Van Esch, nice to see you here. Always 100%. Let's see, Pierce, probably Miles Frazier goes to right guard. Ooh, that could be 100%. Thanks, Miles Mark, says Lauren. Mr. Morale 313, I doubt they get it done. Yes, well, let's hope they get it done sooner versus later, right? That would be great. I love the thumbnail, by the way. Miles Margaret, side eye by second rounders. Well, could be. Leonard, Green Sanitation's Duke crew. Coach, is the holdout the player or agents that work for the players because Brand Holmes has proven loyalty to pay his own? It'd be my anticipation, Leonard. It's a great question. I think it's the agency just trying to get their guy as much as they can. And that is their job, is to try to get the best deal for their client. Pat, hey, Coach, it's been a while. Yes, it has, Pat. How you doing? Are you going to do any training camp? Yeah, I'm not going to them, but I'll be covering them. I'm going to the last preseason game this year. I cannot afford to go regular season games, just too expensive. Yeah, I mean, the point about the regular season games, so we had a big group of us that were planning on going to one of the games. One of our family friends, I guess you could say, we're going to go, but when they looked at the ticket prices, even for the cheapest tickets, they just said they couldn't do it because for the three of them to go, it was going to be like $1,400. And then, of course, food and transportation and everything. And they said, man, we can't put up $2,000 to go to a 3-hour football game. And I get it, man. I totally get it. Silver Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Back at you. Miles Mark, Leonard, I know, right? I'll go with that. William, greetings, salutations, Dan, the Duke crew. We have a need for the O-line and players to know that and will leverage all they can for the contracts. Yeah, that's what agencies do. They're not worried about the team. Let's be fair. They're worried about their client, and that's what they're paid to do. Leonard, I know, right? Phil, this show doesn't sell. It's sold for T-shirt sales. The best shows have no need to sell merch. Man, I did. What was it, Phil? I mean, you would know, man. I want to say a year or so ago, some of you guys asked for like a merchandise thing or whatever. I put it up for a little while, and Jen, bless her soul, she worked on it. The hard part was, man, it's just we were losing money. We're having to pay basically for you guys to get T-shirts and mugs because the cost of shipping was so high. I was like, no disrespect to anybody. I just don't want to pay bills for that kind of stuff. I enjoy just doing this. I don't really want to sell products and merchandise. Of course, with that being said, if you want to give me a call about listing your property or seeing a house, shameful plug there, right? Miles Meyer thought it was said to Colleen. Yeah, I mean, I think Kurt Steele told me that's how he says his last name. I say Colin, but hey, I don't know which way is the correct way. I'm going to trust in the professor, Kurt Steele, on that one. Silver Server, get your behind in training camp! ! Detroit drafted you. Don't want to start as a whining prom child. You'll be able to buy groceries. Don't worry, some can't. All the above is true. Miles Parker, hi, Moonscar Blade. Good to see you. Good to see you all in the comment section. Derek, if Tate does hold out for a fully guaranteed contract at pick 57, he could make himself the most hated man in Detroit. The fans will rate him endlessly. I will be the first to grab a pitchfork. We'll see what happens. And again, I don't think he has a lot to do with it. I could be totally wrong. I think it's, his agency taking the lead on this. Phil, Lions don't sign positions. They draft interior linemen. I'm down with that. Silver, I can't believe Ali is coming to town with that greedy attitude. We'll find out if that's accurate. Phil, will any Lions play both ways this year? Rodrigo, I don't think this year just because he'll be coming off the knee injury. Man, I'm trying to think of somebody else who could do it. I mean, Rodrigo would do it because he can play tight end, fullback, linebacker, obviously. Maybe there's somebody else we're not privy to. I mean, Sion Vaki, I guess, could do it, right? He can play someone in the secondary. Whether or not he'd be ready to be an NFL-level secondary person, that's the big question. There's probably somebody, Phil, I'm not privy to or considering, but there's probably one or two guys. I just think the Lions have so much quality depth everywhere. That's going to be a tough ask of somebody. Miles Barger, so Rayshaw going to be the last second rounder, not guaranteed? Maybe. But we could be seeing the dawn of that happening. Sir, Rat Pack, if you do not want to start with the wrong foot, get to the Detroit Duke Cruise Mafia around here. Hey, we got the Mafia on all over, buddy. Don't ever think that the mob isn't around. Detroit D, let's go Duke Crew. Back at you! Exclamation points. And hopefully you're having a good day there, D. Phil, no, but Stewart got a chance at fullback. Who knows? Perhaps they realize they also a strong safety in Vaki. Maybe. I'm sure they've probably given him some opportunities last year. But to be fair, you've got now at least 3 real good safeties in Detroit. And to be fair, maybe I should say 4 with Lawrence Strickland. He probably doesn't get enough to do. Let's see, Thomas. This team's bargaining a mass of injuries and minimum NFC championship game. Yeah, barring a massive injuries. Yeah, I think we're going to the Super Bowl this year, but I think that as a coach every year. I think, that's your expectation. Coach Rock, I guess so much for not signing next year. It will be third rounders holding out, maybe. I mean, it could happen. The only way to stop it, obviously, is if nobody gets paid. You don't get paid. You affect people's wallets. They'll get on the field pretty quick. Thomas, I'll want 3 in preseason. Hooker to play a lot. Vaki in the backfield and show or go Martin before end of year Rakestraw starts. Could be Rakestraw. I mean, it could just be media hype, I guess you'd say. It sounds like he's looked pretty good. I want to see how he looks in preseason games. That will kind of give you some justification. But keep in mind, in my opinion, at least only, that Hall of Fame game is going to be a hot mess. Both teams are going to have like 4 days to practice. I would not anticipate seeing any first stringers out there, maybe not even second stringers out there, just because you don't want to risk anything. My anticipation is third and fourth stringers play the entire game. There'd be real 08. Tap all the buttons if you would, please. That would be great. Silver Thomas. Penei might stay at right tackle, especially if Manu pans out at left tackle. His natural position and no need to switch. Plus, best pass rushers off play left end in front of the right tackle. This is all accurate information. Derek, as the great philosopher Barney Fife said, nip it, exclamation point, nip it in the butt. There you go. Man, talk about a throwback to the past. Robert, let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Thomas, Silver could be on Sewell, but I want my best lineman protecting my weak side, backside. Yeah, there you go. The quarterback's backside. I'm down with that. Thomas, that's quarterback's backside. Yeah, I figured it out. It took me a second, but I figured it out, man. Matthew, no fear, Coach Grump is here. Hey, good to see you as always, Matthew. How's your day going? Silver, how is Glasgow physically? That I don't know. We'll have to wait until camp. But my guess is if they're going to keep him on the 53, he's good to go. Question mark, was he injured last season? He was somewhat. He was pretty beat up and out of position. Also playing out of position. Can he be effective this year? Question mark. Can he push the pile? Can he pass protect? Lions need one last good season. It would be great if they could get one more real quality season out of him. Allow some of the other guys to get some experience and develop. Silver, I hear you, Thomas. Exclamation point. Thomas, remember at a certain point, because of a good team and talent, 50% of fans that want to go to games cannot afford it. No, that's the downside of having a dominant team. Ticket prices go up in a way. Hey, the Lions have no need to lower prices because everybody's buying them. You got people waiting in lines to buy the tickets. So you know what? Hey, maybe we go once this year, Jen and I would have to drag her. She's not a huge football fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I think I get what everybody's saying about the ticket price, man. It's a commitment. We'll put it that way. Miles Parker, I got a Lions Talk Live Duke Crew merch t-shirt from Anthony creating one 2 years ago. He did a phenomenal job with it. I don't know if he's interested in doing that again. I'll leave that up to him and his brilliant genius regarding that because he did a great job with it. Thomas SS smiling and thumbs up us. I'm down with that. Bo, I have a Lions Talk Live t-shirt and hoodie. Ooh, man, you are rolling around in style, my friend. Silver Surfer, how about if Manu becomes a monster left tackle? Could be. How about that, Thomas? Could be indeed. We'll have to wait and see. Kerry, where did you get it, Bo? Yeah, Anthony, who's on the show, I get this time of year not as much. He did some, and then for, I don't know, a hot second, Jen built a web store, whatever he could get coffee mugs and t-shirts, stuff like that. It just, we were losing money, and not like a buck or two every sale because of the shipping costs and stuff. So I was like, as much as I love the Duke Crew, I just don't want to pay for you guys to have t-shirts. I mean, because it was costing us money. Thomas, SS Glasgow concerns me. I see him more now than the first off of bench guard / center, but at least he was solid vet who could get us through the year. Yeah, he 100% there. Bo, from Coach before he closed the line on merch. Correct with that. Server, Coach, July the 18th, rookies and undrafted free agents on the field 4 days. Correct with that. Yeah, and then actual training camp, I want to say it's the 21st for, veterans at least. How about that? Let's see, Thomas, I would play hooker for the entire Hall of Fame game just to find out this year. Yeah, let's see what they do. I could see us giving them a half, 3/4, something like that, and I'd probably do that with each of the games. Leonard, Coach, have you heard anything about a 2 running back set formation with Gibbs coming out of the backfield next to J-Mo? Potential to say scary good. We've been talking about that, Leonard, the last week or so. I know Hutch Jr. was on here last Friday, brought it up. I don't want to say somebody else did too. I know there was a report that came out last week where Gibbs even addressed that they've been working on that with him. I think we're going to see more of an old school 70s, 80s, early 90s pro formation, split backs in the backfield. 2 receivers, 1 tight end, or 3 receivers, and just stuff like that. Phil, Lions have priced blue collar fans out of home games. Huge mistake. I'll go with that. Miles Meyer, trying to figure out where to watch Xmas Day game. I don't want to buy Netflix. You should be able to get a free version of Netflix. It does have ads, but you can subscribe and get a free ads version. I believe that's correct, at least. Dre Day. So if the quarterback's blind side is normally their non-throwing arm side, why do most teams put their best edge rusher on the quarterback's non-blind side? That just comes down to different people. Why you would do it, different coaching assignments. Well, economics 101, supply and demand, and therein lies the problem. If people weren't buying tickets, ticket prices would come down. You got people standing around in lines waiting to buy, prices go up. Moonscar, Bo Booth with the Lions Talk Live merch, !styling and profiling. Can I get an H boy? Woo! Man, it's been a hot second since we did one of these. So how about a 1, 2, and a 3? And there you go, my friend. Gary, Thomas Donner, 100% agreed. I'll go with that. Bo, woo! Phil, there's Mountain Dew Crew hats left over from NASCAR on eBay. I'll have to check that out. Moonscar Blade, what? Question mark, exclamation point. Coach doesn't want to buy 14,000 t-shirts. Hey, I love to have in the store, but, it seemed like real quick once we launched the store, all of a sudden, like the prices on everything went up, and we were just losing money hand over fist, and that's not a good way for any business to be. Brent, still have my Lions Talk Live t-shirts from Anthony also. Motor City Grit, exclamation point. Oh, yeah. Maybe he'll want to do it again. Just Jen was getting stressed about it, and I didn't want her to be stressed, so I said, just no mas. Moonscar Blade, but those hats, Philly, exclamation point. Then we can make Dan spend more shipping money passing those hats out to the Duke Crew Hall of Famers. Hey, that's a wise idea right there. Thomas, buy those hats. There you go. DM5 TV, Gibbs is going to have 1,350 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving, 25 total touchdowns. That would be a monster year. Phil, this is the patch on the hats. We'll check it out. All right, guys, if there's breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. If you would be so kind before checking on out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know, and we'll see you all on the very next Lions Talk Live. Hey, we're going to be one day closer to the start of the season, so let that sink in. We're getting pretty close there. See you guys.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to Reverend Moon.
Jews for Jesus.
Read about Jehovah's Witness. How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids. Oh, yeah. Scientology.
Or nuclear power.